Good evening and welcome to Hypnosis Hero, the only show, the only podcast where you can get hypnotized right through the screen. And that will, of course, happen tonight because we do have an amazing guest with us tonight. And let me tell you, it's going to be a great conversation. Lots of new things on the go with him, and all is good. We had a few technical hiccups here. I think we've mostly got them solved. Brian's going to give me a thumbs up if we're live everywhere that we're supposed to be. I got 2 thumbs up, and we're live on TikTok here as well. So TikTok land, if you have questions for our guest tonight, feel free to post those in the chat. I will be more than happy to ask those as we get rolling through the live. So, and speaking of that, and all those good things, we should bring on my co-host, the co-host with the most, Mr. Brian Bay. There he is.
Oh, good evening, Shawn.
What do we know?
If I speak, I'm going to cuss.
Uh-oh. Algorithms beware.
Oh, no. That's like I keep telling people with the friends that I have, I do not need any enemies. That's
well,
but,
yeah, that's
as our viewers will probably see throughout tonight's episode.
Yeah, well, that's why we came up with that wonderful term frenemy, and of course, we'll be playing that game a little bit later on with our guest, friend or frenemy. Yeah. So you can place your bets early if you want. We got Tommy on the line. He's saying ding ding party time.
Yeah, Tommy, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
So I have a story to tell.
Uh-oh.
Our superintendents,
do I need a helmet for this or
no?
Okay.
You may get your bell rung, but just hang with me for just a second.
Right.
So in years gone by, one of our high school principals, every time we used to register a student from a rival school division, they would ring a bell. And of course, he's now working in central office, so he doesn't have a direct role with the students anymore. So he was looking for something to replace the bell.
There's a Monty Python reference coming in.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And so we're in our meeting this morning, and we're talking about, now, remember, group of educators, superintendents in the room. And he says, yes, and I'm going to tell you about the bong later, building some suspense. And everybody stopped, and he said, hey, I didn't put it in the notes. I said I would tell you about it later. And
he used the word bong.
So everybody's intrigued, right? And
please tell me he meant something else.
Oh, no, it gets better. So now he doesn't have a direct role with a lot of students, but what he does do is a lot of credit recovery through some special programming. So getting students out there learning trades and earning credits that way.
Educational credits. Okay.
Yeah. And so what yes, I work in a school division.
Okay. I'm like credit recovery. I'm like, this guy a bill collector or like this guy wears many hats.
That's right. So he has replaced his bell with a bong. And that bong is the Taco Bell bong. That sounded at the end of every Taco Bell commercial.
The bell gong type thing, not
Okay. And so and of course he called it a bong. So anyway.
Oh man.
The fun that we can have. Look at that. We have Sammy. We're fighting over it again. There we go. We have Sammy showing up. Sammy, great to have you along. Sammy, of course, knows me from TikTok land. We've been advertising a lot out there recently to make sure that we have a viewership. And I can see we got about 3 or 4 people in TikTok already, and there'll be more on the way. I know there's a few lives out there that a lot of people tend to jump on, and those will be ending soon. So as things progress, we will carry on. Other than that, Brian, how is life in Seattle?
It's Seattle. We've apparently Mother Nature has pulled us off the Traeger grill, so the smoke has very much subsided, even though half of Washington's still on fire. Let's see, blood moon, so the full moon just the other night, and was able to settle a car accident property damage thing today. So right before we got on, adjuster called and gave us more than what we were asking for. It was kind of close to our initial thing, but client's happy. I look like a rock star. It was double their initial offer, and the Lord giveth a pot of gold. And I said, thank you very much. I will take this to my client, and all is right in the universe for right now.
Well, you can't argue with looking like a rock star. I somehow just can't picture you with spiked hair and great big long dreadlocks or something like that.
I might go run upstairs and get the blue mohawk Seahawks thing, but
Oh, for a minute there, I thought you were going to say like something crazy like Vancouver Canucks.
it is Vancouver Canuck blue. They actually kind of funny story. The Vancouver Canucks, the green men, Sully and Force, they wear the little unitard or whatever those things are, the morph suits.
Yep.
And it started, they were going to come down. If I recall correctly, the story was that they were going to come down for a Seattle Seahawks football game, American football for our British and European viewers. And they couldn't get tickets, or there was scheduling or something like that. So they said, all right, screw it. We're going to go to a Canucks game. And it just took off from there like wildfire.
It's been a long time since I've been in any hockey rink. In fact, I got to say, the last time I was in a hockey rink was in North Carolina.
What's crazy to me is in Vancouver, how they were able to get like a Costco size gigantic box of Eggo waffles to then just throw in the stands, and they're sitting right next to the penalty box, and how they get some of the props that they use. It's absolutely insane, but it's all clean.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious. It's super silly, but there's nothing, they'll do the holiday stuff where it's like the naughty list, and they've got a bunch of like enforcer players on there and stuff like that. But just some of the stuff, it's, if they sit there with the Burger King, face masks, it's just paper cutouts, and they just stand there and just stare at the glass. They're not really doing much of anything, but just that alone is hilarious.
Yep. They're having fun. They're being annoying and gaining notoriety from it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. There's a few people like that. We used to actually have somebody. So in the CFL, Rider fans will remember for sure. Saskatchewan Rough Rider fans will remember a guy, but he went by the moniker the Flame. And anytime the Riders scored a touchdown, and now this, keep in mind, this is in an open stadium, and the last time it was actually done was in Sky Dome when the dome was closed.
Okay.
But what would happen was he would have a teenager with him, and the teenager was supposed to load the helmet. So there's like think almost like a roller brush that's designed to remove the fuzz from your suit jacket. About that size, maybe a little bit wider. Put it in the top, and then he lights it on fire, and it's like it's like a flame. It's not even fireworks. It's like a flame shooting straight out. And then the very last time it happened, it was actually in the Sky Dome. I think when the Riders were playing in the Grey Cup or something like that. And the reason that it stopped wasn't because he blew a hole in the top of the stadium. It was that he and the boy were injured when they were loading the rest of the unused containers back into his vehicle so they could drive back to Saskatchewan. So, but I mean, this thing, if I was anywhere near that thing, I would be making sure I didn't wear any hair product or anything, because it wasn't a small flame. We're talking about something that shot like 3 or 4 feet in the air.
Right.
And all he had between him and that was a hard helmet, a hard hat that had.
I'm like, did someone just like, hey, here's a bunch of oversized Roman candles, they're just gonna,
yeah.
But
So there are kooky fans everywhere that do all kinds of weird things.
But speaking of notoriety and kooky and fun and interesting folks, we've got a guest this evening.
We do have a guest this evening, and he's been let me pull this across here so I can actually read it while it's in front of me. There we go.
The patience of a saint.
Yep, let's go. This week's hero has been mesmerizing audiences all over the world for years. Beginning his performance career as a mind-reading mentalist, Judge Mentalist has evolved his skill set and routines to the influential and amazing world of hypnosis. He has hypnotized thousands of volunteers and made each and every one of them the star of his amazing stage performances. And if you've seen any kind of social media lately, I can guarantee you've likely seen one of his social media posts about his shows and the things that go on in his shows. Some of it is just absolutely amazing footage. In his career, he's performed for audiences large and small, public events, school events, fundraisers, and he's assisted nonprofit and school organizations to raise thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars through his performances since 2023. So with that in mind, please welcome to the Hypnosis Hero podcast, Judge Mentalist.
What's happening, party people?
Got to get that last.
Like you got some of the same people here that Michael Brody had last night. I recognize some of those screams.
It's that last. That's that last. Ah. I think
if you recognize those people, it's evidence you have a dedicated fan base.
There you go. I appreciate that dedicated fan base that sometimes travels and follows me all over the world. What's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot, man. It's good to. I know we've had phone calls back and forth, over the last couple of weeks, but as always, it's a pleasure to chat with you.
And likewise, I think this is my third time on the program in a handful of years, and it certainly won't be my last. And you were mentioning rock stars earlier today. Did you guys happen to see Spinal Tap on Jimmy Kimmel?
No,
you got to watch it. I think it was just last night because before logging on here, I was just doom scrolling through my feed, and all of a sudden that popped up, and I was like, "Oh, I got to see this!" And the time mark on it was like, I don't know, 17 or 18 hours ago. So it was probably from the show last night or something relatively new. Mm-hmm. I never watched the original This is Spinal Tap movie, but boy, oh boy, after watching this, I am intrigued that this real fake spoof band, whatever it is just, they're just out there doing their thing and apparently going on Kimmel and probably the entire talk show circuit for all I know. I don't really keep up with that stuff, but it does, as you do, it shows up in the stream from time to time. So, yeah, it was an interesting little bit. And when you mentioned Brian being a rock star, it made me think back to that just before this.
Oh shit! Now I got to go YouTube Jimmy Kimmel while we're on the.
You're supposed to have a third screen open so you can just.
Oh, I do.
Listen, I am here despite the fact, and this is like my wife's not happy about it. There are 3 new episodes of the newest season of Only Murders in the Building that dropped. And I made the dumb mistake of showing her this before being like, I'm going to go be on a podcast for the next hour and a half. She's like,
Were there other fingers involved too?
Just 2. One per hand. So don't let anybody ever dedicate my or question my dedication to the world that is hypnosis. Here we go.
Yep. Yeah. And to the fact that Between Two Minds, another podcast, that's your podcast, and you've been busy promoting a lot of people coming up in the Michigan International Hypnosis Conference. Tell us a little bit about going there.
Super excited to head back to Michigan this weekend, see a lot of old faces, and while I have no direct plans to hold myself out in the world of clinical hypnosis, I have been doing a lot of work, a lot of studying, a lot of homework, and I am going to find myself this weekend probably in more clinical-based sessions than entertainment-based sessions. I'm not 100% sure. I have not made all of my final decisions on where I'm going to be and when. But there is so much amazing stuff that's happening at that conference this week. Kudos to Dan Goyette for putting this thing together, for combing through probably hundreds of submissions, because there's quite a few presenters. I can only count up and down to 10, so I don't know how many there really are. But it's a lot. I mean, it's 3 days packed full. And last year, where there were 2 or 3 sessions at a time, there are now 3 or 4. So lots of tough decisions this weekend. Fortunately, they'll be recording everything and make those recordings available afterwards for those tough decisions. But a really exciting time. Lots of new stuff. Lots of great returning people giving new talks. And it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of people that are there are going to be at Performing Hypnosis Summit. I know I talked to Grant yesterday, or not today. Not yesterday. Today, there was a day involved. I don't know. It was still light for me anyway.
To be fair, when you from home are talking to Grant at home, there may be both a day and a tomorrow involved.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, I asked him when he was flying out, and he said it was tomorrow at what was the word that he used? Some god awful hour in the morning. Anyway, long story short, he will be there by tomorrow night. Boots on the ground, and we will do Hypno News Thursday. So don't be surprised if Grant happens to start pulling people aside to say, "Hey, come on the news with me," just to show that he's actually there, and it can be a business write-off, I guess. I don't know.
So what's the over-under that Grant makes it to Detroit without any interruptions? Because, and hear me out on this, he's flying from London Gatwick, not Heathrow, to New York on the 24th anniversary of 9/11, and he's going to try to go through customs while Donald Trump is there doing, the president of the United States doing his thing.
If he's coming tomorrow, it's the 10th, right?
No, I think he's flying on the 11th.
Tomorrow. Hang on, I'll tell you exactly what he said.
Yeah,
I talked to him. He said
travel plans here.
He may arrive on the 11th, but he's starting his flight tomorrow.
I think he said he's driving down late Wednesday night to be able to get to the airport to park, and then for his Sweet Jesus 30 in the morning flight, and then I'm like, if I only knew somebody at either the TSA or customs.
The term that he used was the silly o'clock flight.
That sounds about right.
Hey, you guys dropped a TikTok link for me in the chat, which I think I have updated, by the way.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to follow me, I think right now it's just at Judgmentalist on TikTok.
All right, hang on here. Let me update that, and we'll post it right now.
I have no idea if that old link will lead to the site, if there's any sort of cooling off period or what. But
no, it's usually pretty instant if you make a change. Okay, so at TikTok at Judgmentalist.
Yep.
There we go. We'll even flash that one on the screen when it comes up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to update like contact notes for you.
It's just that one. That's the only one that's changed.
Oh no, it's like website, law firm stuff, website. But I mean, you're doing great things out there.
I'm it's tough to hit a moving target, so got to stay on the move, got to keep doing stuff. Yeah, the web address that's there below is dedicated to my upcoming Barcelona Fringe Festival run. Super excited about that because I'm doing an experimental style show where I don't know what any of these routines and any of these shows are going to be, because they will be determined about 5 minutes maybe before the show starts. The Carnival of Dreams is this sick idea that I had a couple of years ago of not quite an improv show, but getting ideas for routines from the audience as they enter. They're going to write them down. They're going to be prompted of, these are some of the traditional types of hypnosis routines. Don't write one of these down. Use them to kind of have a framework for what you can suggest, and then write something zany down that you want to see on stage. But keep in mind, you might be up there on that stage. And then I'm going to take those, I'm going to filter them. Anything that's unsafe, anything that's inappropriate or embarrassing is not going to make the cut. And then I am going to craft a unique show right there on the fly and then do it.
You're going to have to somebody from Spain or Barcelona be like, okay, that's illegal. We can't do that stuff.
Well, too bad. I got booked for it. They've known for months. Here we go. I am doing a psychological mentalism show should they have a problem with it.
No, I meant like this particular skit, like that's a no. Or
well, here's the thing. I am going to vet these before they get incorporated into a set list. There is not going to be anything that crosses any sort of barriers, safety or ethics or embarrassment wise. There's not going to be adult material or anything like that. I'm going to make sure that those things stay out of the books. And, I have and will have kind of a backup plan. That backup plan being a set of routines in case I get an audience full of duds that don't put any ideas in the bin. But I'll use this to shill an opportunity for folks to be involved in this thing. I have, and everything related to this run can be found at carnivalofdreams.com. And I have launched a Kickstarter campaign. For anybody who's not familiar, it's a crowdfunding sort of effort where people can pitch a couple of bucks my way to help fund this adventure. And unlike a GoFundMe, you get rewards in return. So for as little as $5, and this is honestly, if I were to highlight one level of campaign and reward here, it is actually the lowest level, where you will be for just $5 American, which is what, like $300 Canadian or something like that these days, or like £2 sterling maybe. That actually might be accurate. It's probably more like 3, but you can be part of a private behind the scenes chat group, which as of right now is likely going to be run on WhatsApp, because I have folks that have bought into this from all over the world. There are Canadians, there are Australians, and Americans. There are a few Americans in there. So that is the lowest tier. That is, to me, the most important tier, and every tier, regardless of how much money somebody throws at this thing, is part of that group and is going to get an invitation. There's swag that I have. I somehow came out here to avoid dogs and have decent Wi-Fi and all of that other stuff without bringing one of these really cool, it's going to be merchandise for the show. It is a hypnosis coin. So
you showed that to me, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah, if you go to the Kickstarter page, so just go to carnivalofdreams.com. There's a green box at the top. Click that; it'll take you there. You are not obligated to pledge by checking all this stuff out, but you could see photos of the things that are worth photographing. It is a really nice challenge coin that has the Carnival of Dreams logo, Judge Mentalist Barcelona 2025 on one side, and then a hypnosis swirl on the other side. So if you are doing, hypnosis and doing any sort of eye fixation induction, or are using this for self-hypnosis and you do an eye fixation, it's absolutely perfect for that. That is right there, Brian. Thank you. On the Facebook is giving a direct link to that Kickstarter campaign.
And YouTube's popping up here in a second.
And YouTube in a second. Wonderful. So the cool thing, and the reason that I put all this stuff on Carnival of Dreams is that when they have formally announced these shows, I'm going to be adding ticket links and show dates there. Also, much like what we talked about earlier, where I've done these interviews previewing presenters for conferences like Michigan, like PHS, they actually started this afternoon where I did my first interview of other fringe performers that are going to be at this festival. So for anybody who doesn't know what a fringe festival is, these things happen all over the world. Find out where the closest one to you is, because they're a really cool opportunity where these cities will, whether it's a weekend, a series of weekends, a couple of weeks. In Australia, some of them do them for a couple of months in a row. It is multicultural, I'm losing the word for different types of performance, multidisciplinary. Woo! Okay. It's past my bedtime for this old man. So the mind's not working. If I'm not doing a show, which I'm kind of doing a show here, but if I'm not hypnotizing people, I'm sometimes all the synapses aren't firing. But they have at these things comedians, magicians, acrobatics, jugglers, spoken word, musicians, all sorts of different stuff. A hypnotist. I'm the only hypnotist at the Barcelona Fringe Festival this year. Last year when I did Rochester, New York, I was the only hypnotist there. I guess I'm the only hypnotist that loves losing money, because there aren't, it is very, very difficult to, especially when you're traveling internationally, to actually turn a profit on any of these shows. So it's a fun adventure. And if you were interested in that show concept, there are two tiers that are available where you can either suggest routines. So I will write them down on the slips of paper and throw them in the bins at each of the shows. And if I select and use one of your routines, I'm going to clip out that video and send it to you. There's also a tier where if you want to make sure that I use your routine idea in this show, it's a little bit more of a higher tier, and there's only 5 of them. And I think 2 or 3 of them have sold. So there's really only 2 of them that it might be 2 or 3 that might be available still. We will have leading up to this powwows on Zoom or Google Meet or whatever works to actually write a routine together that will go in the show. So
an opportunity to collaborate and kind of fine tune.
Collaborate. You come up with an idea. We'll work it into a routine that has some twists and some turns and multiple phases to it, and get a little conflict going there. Again, I think 3 of those have already sold, because this is all right. So the coolest thing, the most humbling thing about this, probably, I did a live stream last Thursday to walk through, and I had been promoting this Kickstarter, for about a month and a half leading up to it. And I had about 60 or 70 people following it to get notifications. And I knew that some of those people weren't necessarily going to do it, but I was juicing the algorithm a little bit. So I did a live stream and launched this thing last Thursday afternoon live after walking through all of the different reward tiers. And for any of you hypno junkies out there, and I hope me using those 2 words together, at least the second word there, doesn't get this thing flagged on any social media channels, because some of them like to flag that second word. But if you love hypnosis videos, there's a tier where you're going to get every video from every show that I do during the Fringe. As of right now, it's at least 3. So you're going to get a minimum of 3 hypnosis show videos for $50, which most people, myself included, are selling these things after their shows for $25 a piece. So there's already value there, and you get to be part of the group, and you get to suggest a routine, and you get all the swag, including that hypno coin. The campaign launched live and 100% funded in 19 minutes. So
that's awesome.
That was crazy. I was super excited about that. And we are, last I checked, we're just under 200% funded, which is super excited. I am hoping and waiting that the momentum that it's gotten, and if it continues to get momentum, will get picked up on Kickstarter's site so that it pushes it out. Because really, I just want to grow this community. I want to grow an interest in hypnosis. I want to grow and understanding. So, the cool thing and what I'm looking forward to with that group, which again, like I said, that $5 tier to me is the most important tier. There's going to be behind the scenes stuff, thoughts, hiccups. You're going to see the venues that I'm performing in before anybody ever does, or before the days of the show, because as soon as I get to Barcelona, I'm going to be bouncing around to these different places, because the 3 shows that I'm doing are in 3 different venues. You're going to get my impressions of all of the challenges that I have to deal with, because I can almost guarantee Murphy's Law that there's going to be something that is daunting and impossible about one of these setups in one of these venues. It's inevitable. If I'm doing
make sure you get the adapter for the power plugs.
I have many contingencies, and if you know Jeff Bennick as long as I've known him, there's no way to not have access to that knowledge of what you're necessarily going to need, and what the backup plan is, and what the secondary backup plan is. And if you don't know him, he is going to be in Michigan this weekend. I just saw an announcement that he's going to be at the Canadian Hypnosis Conference.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know, because I have nothing to do with PHS, but I'd find it hard pressed to believe that he won't be there and presenting. He usually does Heartland as well. And many of the straight up clinical conferences that I can't even tell you the names of, because I'm not really, I've got like a toe in that world.
I've got them all listed out on Hypno News. So Thursday you can find out.
He is a fantastic resource because he was a sound engineer before he got really into performing hypnosis. So he knows all of the angles. There are no snafus that I'm sure that man hasn't dealt with and just plowed through 100 times.
Yeah. It's and Jeff's he's a really solid guy.
Yeah.
The 2 times that I've met him, it's just amazing, the stuff that, like, the stories that he tells about the production and the technological capabilities that he has to put into his show. I'm like, man, I want to get on an airplane and fly over to the Netherlands and go see it.
We gotta get him to do a show over here in the States. I mean, I don't know the logistics of like visas and.
I was gonna say there's probably some works visas and stuff, but yeah, I think
whatever we got to do, because he doesn't just do a show; he launches a production, and it's. I haven't seen it in person, but everything about what he describes and talks about with this is absolutely incredible. And like many of the presenters at these conferences, super giving with his time, his knowledge. You've got questions about something, if he's got answers to it, it's not coming with the, hey, slide your card through here on Square and then I'll talk to you. It is just, here you go.
And with his, I'll comment and kind of expand a little bit on his presentation back in January for the 2025 conference. Is he says, he talks about how much it adds to the show, and every bit of what he says is true. And then he says, call me, get a hold of me. We'll set up times to collaborate, answer questions, share ideas. If you need, recommendations for equipment or how you can, do some of the effects, he's like, we'll do that. And he says, if I need to program, lights and audio and everything else, he's like, I'll work with you. Like, obviously there's a cost because that's his profession. That's his day job. And
whatever he charges, I can guarantee you it's worth it, because he will know how to set up and run your show, audio, visual, lights, all of this stuff in Q Labs, and he's going to do it. You're not paying him for his time. You're paying him for his experience, his knowledge, how much of a professional he is. But a lot of that stuff, if it's like, hey, how does this work? Or what do you suggest? Because sometimes, real story from Heartland, sometimes I show up to a venue with my iPad and they look at me like I have 3 heads when I want to Bluetooth my sound into their system. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Is it 1925 or 2025?
We've got our corn powered sound system.
Yeah, let's Bluetooth in. So now I have a device that will hook into their board in any of the conventional things, and I Bluetooth to that, and now I've Bluetoothed into their system. And I know
he talks about, if you go into any larger venues where there's a proper theater, he says, if you will get me the stage dimensions and the type of speakers and this, that, whatever they have as far as their soundboard setup, he goes, a lot of those places will have the tech specs, and he goes, I'll optimize the sound for it. And I'm going,
and if you're doing a cruise ship, all of those cruise ships, as far as I know, already have Q Labs. So the ability for you to be like, here's my show. Gone.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, you're going to this new place. All right, boom. Let me make some adjustments. Awesome. Now I've got preset for these venues, and you can do, the ability to work with him. He's like, okay, here, I'll upload this, and it's all remote. It's amazing.
I'd say let's ring him and bring him into this chat, but it's probably 3 or 4 in the morning where he is. So.
There's about a 50-50 chance he might still be up.
Who knows?
Or he's just waking up and just thinking, I should get my first cup of coffee of the day, and what the heck, my phone is ringing.
Yeah. But Joe Beth, I wanted to kind of circle back and have you expand a little bit more on, or get some clarification. You talked about on one of the tiers, you can submit your ideas, or with the shows, the people will, as they enter the venue, write down some slips of paper, get some instructions, and you get to filter all that stuff. How do you navigate through, any sound that might go with that? Like, do you just have a big soundboard and your sound guy goes, all right, I can kind of throw some of these sound effects and I'm just going to roll with this to see what you're going to be just as surprised as anybody else? Or is it?
Let me bring in my sound guy real quick. And all right, so I am going to download a bunch of stuff ahead of time, and there is going to be a whole lot of wing and even more prayer in this thing. And there will absolutely be routines that just don't have sound behind them, or maybe just some ambient sound to fill the room. So one of the great things about Fringe, some people take works that they're trying to polish and really take somewhere else with it. Some people take refined works that they just want to get flight time in on. And some people take truly out of the box, experimental, let's just have a crack at it type of stuff. And that's really more the category of what this falls into. And, obviously we were just talking about Jeff and how much production value is in his shows. I will be introducing mostly the opposite of that in these shows. So it is going to have tremendous elements of improv. There is going to be next to no precision outside of absolute dumb luck on my part with respect to having and being able to throw together audio tracks on the fly, basically writing a show 5 minutes before performing it. So,
well, it kind of brings an element of authenticity. It's almost like street hypnosis, but in a theater where you're going, hey, I can't plant stooges in the audience.
Right.
This is audience driven, kind of a whose line is it anyway? And, mixing all of that stuff up and going, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to light the fuse and find out.
Look, it's going to be great. I can tell you that whatever it is, I'm dedicated to making it great. It's going to be an absolute fun adventure and journey for everybody that gets involved in it. And here's the cool thing. There won't be a mystery for anybody who hops on that Kickstarter and submits ideas. If those are worthwhile ideas, I don't necessarily 100% know that they'll get used in a show, but I'll have more time to think about those, and those will absolutely have appropriate audio tracks behind them. So am I cheating a little bit? Yeah. Am I okay with that? Also, yes.
Yes. And
because here's the thing, there is going to be some degree of, okay, if I don't have those early low level audition style routines that are geared up to make sure that you've got the right people on stage, you've got emotive people on stage, that that we're going in and deepening them throughout that process with fractionation and otherwise, I'm going to have some of that teed up and ready to go. So that part of the show, the improv-y part of the show, is going to start when I'm ready for it to start and when my volunteers are ready for it to start. So I'm actually, with the experimental nature of this show, I'm toying around with really throwing it out into the wind, where I have about the first 10 minutes of 3 different shows or 4 different shows teed up. And then after vetting them, because again, I'm going to take out the nasty stuff. I'm going to take out the FU judgmentalist that somebody wrote in there, because inevitably somebody's going to do it at one of the shows. But don't worry, whatever crazy, wacky, zany shit ends up in there, I guarantee you, if you're in the behind the scenes group, you're going to be first to know about it. But eventually that stuff's going to make its way to social media, because I don't know, people love to see dumb shit like that. That's why they write it down in the first place, because they want the attention from it. So all of that stuff is eventually going to get out there. If you're part of the behind the scenes group for $5 American and whatever that is in your world, your country, come on in. It's going to be fantastic. I want to build that community, because that's going to go beyond just these shows. Having launched and hit that goal so quickly, and then jumping into so much of this promotional type of stuff, because it was not necessary. I mean, I knew that people were going to pledge. I didn't know they were going to fund the thing at 100% in 19 minutes. That just kind of knocked my socks off. I'm toying around with ideas of what to do with stretch goals. I'd love ideas if people have those ideas, because through my social media channels, you should be able to get in touch with me if you have an idea of, hey, wouldn't it be cool if once you hit 300% that you did this for everybody. I'm open to those ideas. I'll add in anything that makes sense that's worth doing. But yeah, I'd love.
And you only kicked the thing off. What is it? Was it the 1st or the 2nd of September?
Last week Thursday. What number day was that? 4, the 4th. So this thing's going to run, I think, till October 2nd.
I was going to say we're barely a week into it, and you're almost funded at 200% of your original goal, with another 3 weeks to go. I mean, I'm hoping that it keeps this momentum.
Well, these campaigns have a way, because I didn't go into this blindly. There were a lot of great folks that I'm connected with who have successfully run these campaigns in the past. And I think, and this same thing goes to whether you're a performing hypnotist, whether you're a clinical hypnotist, if there's a branch of this world that you want to explore and play around with, find somebody who's been there before. Ask them questions. As we've talked about before, whether it's booking shows or setting up sound and audio sound and audio, lights and other things like that, or routining, or Michael Brody and I are going to have a nice talk in Michigan about improv and just making sure that I've got talk to people. This is a very open and welcoming community. People that are going to talk to you and help you out. Whatever it is, don't go it alone. Don't wing it. So I had a lot of great advice on how to set this thing up and get it going. Some of the ideas for some of the perks came from other people who have been there before me. So this is the success of it, certainly not by accident. It went better than I thought it was going to go, but there's still, like I said, there's still 3 weeks to get involved in it. But what I was told to expect was a bump at the beginning, almost like a reverse bell curve, quiet, maybe a few trickle in here and there, and then spike up near the end. Because what will happen, regardless of whether I get the traction in the middle that I need to really elevate it longer term on the site, at the end, it's going to show up as projects that are ending soon. So you almost inevitably get that last minute push. Sometimes you have people that are watching it to say, hey, I don't even want to bother putting my pledge out there until I know this project's going to be funded. Because Kickstarter, unlike a GoFundMe, if you don't hit 100%, nobody gets charged. Nothing happens. The project dies.
Okay.
But obviously we're past that. We're, like I said, we're almost at, last I checked, we were at like 183% or something like that.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. It kind of reminds me of a kind of a funny story that Grant was telling me, kind of similar to, or he had a similar idea. It was a number of years ago where he says, all right, I'm going to have my computer synced up to the projector, and I'm going to, jump on Twitter back then. And he goes, so I'm going to tweet out, hey, send me ideas, and it's going to be real time up on, the screen behind the volunteers. And you can imagine how that went really sideways really fast.
Well, the thing is, we have to remember people will find the lowest level possible of the use of any tool.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Entertainment is even I don't want to say worse, but it is even more taken advantage of than some of the other areas of life. But when you're looking at entertainment, if people have a way to insert themselves into it without doing permanent damage to themselves, they will do it.
And here's the promise that I'm going to make.
Well, there was just like some inappropriate stuff that Grant was like, all right, and we're shutting that down.
We're going to shut that. So here's the promise I'm going to make to anybody who backs that Kickstarter and wants to suggest an idea that's highly inappropriate. It will be used in the show. I promise you, your idea will make the stage in Barcelona. If it's nasty and if it's inappropriate. Now, it's not going to be used in a hypnosis routine. However, in my opening, when I'm explaining very briefly how this show is going to work, if you are skeptical about coming up on my stage because you don't want to do any nasty shit, keep in mind, I've gone through these. So things like your nasty thing and this nasty thing and that nasty thing have already been taken out of the bin. So if you would like to suggest an idea that's going to make one of those from the intro, I will also clip out, as I've promised everybody else, that intro and send it to you.
Oh, it's going to be.
Oh, you can.
So all of these people that I have just read with these examples, you all need Jesus
for $25 or less. I think that there was an early bird. I don't know. Anyway, I think the early bird might be over. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's oh boy,
God, that's like you're rethinking what you just threw out there. You're going like, man, like I'm gonna have to read this on stage in front of people.
No. I'm totally okay with it because the worse it is, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but the worse that thing is, I believe the more comfortable people are going to get because they know that I took the nasty thing out.
Right.
So even if I have to make them up, that's going to be part of the intro to that show.
Well, and think about it, like, and go back to the early days when they were a little more censored on whose line it is anyway. So, the early Drew Carey years.
Oh, yeah.
How many times he reached into the hat and said, no, we're not doing that one. And you wonder what was on that sheet of paper that we're not doing. And now there isn't pretty much anything they won't tackle because there is no censorship.
No, you're not reviewing World War II history from the early 40s.
I'm curious as to when I do that bit in the intro, if one of them is such that it gets me some boos because the people in the audience want me to do the thing that I said I wasn't going to do.
Oh, I'm 100%. It's like, oh yeah, we definitely want to have a PG show, and I'm sure you covered this a few times in your shows. It's got to be PG or PG-13. I mean, that's what it is. And the minute you get the volunteers up on the stage, you realize there is no way PG-13 left the building like 10 minutes ago.
I will say And
that's something I would put in one of my, contracts and waivers is like, I am responsible for what I say and how I present the show. I'd make no guarantees or take responsibility for what the volunteers say in an altered state of mind.
Certainly true. I will say that my very first show is Halloween night at 11 p.m. So
There you go.
if I'm going to get that group of people who wants me to take things to the next level, it's going to be that night. I'm pretty sure.
See, and there's where you need to have certain sound effects. Vincent Price's laugh, for example. Got to have that.
I definitely within my go button, which is what I use to run my sound. It's kind of like the junior version of Q Labs because I don't have all the other bells and whistles going. Because they did a Halloween show for somebody, like a private party last year. So there's definitely some stuff queued up for that. The Monster Mash is in there for sure. I think the Monster Mash might actually be in the public domain. I'm not 100% sure, but that song's
it's got to be, it's got to be pretty close because what's public domain? 50 years?
I think something like that.
Oh, we've got to ask the Google.
Well, while we're doing that, I'll mention we've got Jen and Sammy skipped from Facebook back onto TikTok. Steve Supachan is here with me in TikTok as well. He's throwing a bunch of likes out here to the
tell him to jump back on Facebook. It helps the algorithm. No. But who else do we have on TikTok?
And of course, Jen C, who is a friend of mine, fellow educator from across the border in Winnipeg area. So
Becca finally woke from her beauty sleep to join us from England.
She wakes up just to get here in time to go back to sleep, right?
Yeah.
That's her favorite part of the show.
That's one of those things that when you do the hypnosis, you're going to be like, all right, Becca, we're getting ready. And, snap your fingers, have her go back to sleep.
So I'm going to sound like an old when I say this, but how many followers do I need to start going live on TikTok? Because I'm at 690 right now.
You might be able to. You know what? Let's find a time after Michigan, and we'll go live together.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Because I'd love to pump that up because
they've messed those restrictions up a few times. I've seen people with as few as 100 followers go live, which is kind of weird. But
I know it used to be 1,000.
Typically it's 1,000. So.
I wish the social media policies would be super clear, not confusing, and because you can run down the Facebook rabbit hole like no tomorrow. It's like link upon link upon link, but I might have to chat with you guys and go, hey, what do I need to do with this? I was talking with Grant
about what we say because they're going to change it all in 2 weeks. So,
yeah.
I mean, how many times have you set one of these up and then as you're ready to go live, you've got to redo something to link it up with Facebook? One night you can't go live on Facebook.
Yeah, if there's been any one platform that has been problematic on a semi-regular basis, it would be FB.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
see what I did there, Jen? I didn't say the full name, so I'm safe on all the algorithms.
So and that was we were just having a conversation before, going, the web hosting platform that blasted out to multiple social media stuff. Joe Beth, you're like, I've got this brand new extra Star Spangled Awesome microphone, but it doesn't work on this one, so I've got to use a different one.
Which I find kind of odd that it would discount a piece of hardware because it should be hardware agnostic.
It should be. I mean, I think it's just because it's new. I don't know. I'm certainly no expert. Yeah, Becca, it's Brian. Okay, he's not Brianna until Thursday night.
her autocorrect is getting shit talked about me. It's so
maybe it's an English pronunciation, Brian.
Yeah, there we go.
No, the metric version. Don't give me that
We're
garbage.
gonna go with that.
Yeah, pretty soon TikTok's we're gonna have to edit it out, and it's gonna sound like some Navy guy typing out Morse code, going, "The red coats are coming," but
it's all good.
So
all right. No, let's do this.
Go ahead.
Let's plant this seed. We are going to be playing Friend or Frenemy in a few moments. So by all means, please place your vote now. Is Judgmentalist a friend or a frenemy? Dun, dun, dun. And now back to our regular programming.
No, I was going to say, do you want to, Joe Beth, do you want to talk?
I don't think we're done. I don't think we're done with Becca.
Fuck.
And demonetized.
We are now in the world and the era of the pre-hypnotic suggestion.
Jesus.
It is locked in.
I called it. I'm like, we're with friends like you guys, who needs enemies. But no, I was going to say, well, my train of thought is still boarding at the station. Did you want to talk about some of the success that you've had with your fundraising strategies, platforms, stuff like that? Any things that you've been doing as of late?
Yeah, I mean, my primary, I love doing these festivals. I love being able to travel to new places, as I kind of joked around before, especially when there's international travel involved. Even with a successful Kickstarter, there's not really much of a profit margin there. It's an adventure. And again, that's why I kind of decided to launch that thing and invite people to join me on that adventure, even though it's cost prohibitive to fly to Barcelona to see me do shows that, if they're successful, I will certainly bring back to the States. My favorite wheelhouse of shows is doing fundraiser shows for largely high schools, nonprofits, other worthwhile causes. The high schools tend to be the target. They're the lowest hanging fruit for me, because they typically have some form of a performance space that they can utilize at no cost to them and no cost to us. So, whether it's in a proper theater, an auditorium, whether it's a big cafeteria, or even a gymnasium, I've done them on basketball floors before. They already have that venue built in, and I offer these groups for the most part, and it depends on the structure of the event, because I've also been booked to be the entertainment at like a banquet or a gala. So that's got preset based on the audience, flat rate pricing. But with the ticketed shows, where the shows are the fundraiser, it's no risk for the organization. I take a percentage of the ticket sales, and the more tickets that group sells, because in this setup, the group is responsible for selling those tickets. The more tickets that they sell, my percentage goes down. So I'll take as little as 20% of that money with a group that can sell 400 or more tickets.
So it's like a tiered structure. You look at what's the capacity, and then
if you want to get in the weeds on it, from the onset, when I book one of these shows, the ticket splits 50-50. Once that group has sold ticket number 200, I now only take 40%. And that's 40% of every ticket sold, not above 200. If they get to 300, I drop it to 30%. If they sell 400 or more tickets, I'm only taking 20% of that ticket cost, which means they keep the rest. I have in Maryland and Delaware, I've got a tour sort of thing going on in November, literally 2 days after I get back from Barcelona. Woo, that's going to be fun. It's a good thing I'm doing the traveling West time travel thing, which is nice. It's a lot easier coming back than
perform jet lagged.
I've done worse. I've got 6 shows over the course of 3 weeks for mostly high schools. There's also a couple of nonprofits that have teamed up to promote an event and split the money between the two of them. They're going to be a lot of fun. And the other element of the pricing structure, and you don't have to be local to me. I travel and I bear the risk. I book my own flights. You're not paying separate for the flight or for my lodging. That's the risk I take in booking these shows. Now I'm going to vet you and make sure that you've got an organization that's capable of selling enough tickets for me making it worth going out there, but I'm going to bear that risk. And the other half of the pricing structure and the revenue stream is sponsorships. I have a team, small team, but a growing team as I do more and more of these shows that will do the outreach to sell sponsorships. So that's additional money. Those 6 shows have not formally been announced. Tickets are available for them, but they haven't formally been announced or publicized yet. And because of the sponsorships, all of those organizations have already raised over $1,000 each, and they haven't even started pushing tickets yet. So it's a super cool thing, and that can really be taken anywhere. If you're gonna try to fly me international, I may kind of say, hey, look, I want you to cover my flight to get over there, but at least a minimum that covers that flight, but we can work that out. There is also, since I could circle back and shill that Kickstarter one last time, the top tier, you can book me to do a show, and it's below my market rate. I would normally charge more money than you can buy me doing a show on the Kickstarter for. The asterisk on that is you do have to cover my travel and my lodging on top of it. But even that, unless it's international,
you do the show for the pledge.
They have purchased me doing the show. They have to get me there,
right?
But through the Kickstarter, what they're paying, and I don't even get all that money because Kickstarter takes a percentage of it or whatnot. But I'm happy to do it. That tier actually exists because as I was doing the pre-launch, somebody reached out and requested it, so I put it there, and then they bought it. So that's capped at 5. So if you have an organization that has like a big gala and you're going to have several hundred people there sometime within the next year and you want me to do the entertainment for it, I guarantee you doing it through the Kickstarter is going to be cheaper than you calling me and saying, hey, I have 400 people at this event. What's your price? I guarantee you it's going to be higher than what you can get it for by a factor of at least 2. Depending on the size of your event. Because usually when I'm doing those, I try to be cognizant. I like to get involved in those types of events early and before they've priced the event, because then it gives me the ability to be like, hey, you're charging $90 for this ticket. All right, I'm going to charge you $10 a head, and you're going to charge $100 a ticket. Therefore, you're technically getting me for free.
No, and then when you're doing the sponsorship, what's an additional benefit for the sponsors to be able to, or have people go through you for sponsorship to generate the fundraising?
Well, it's for the organization, it's more money and they don't have to do any work. For the businesses that are sponsoring it, they're getting tickets to the event. Depending on the tiers, there's a program. We've started doing the programs digitally because number one, why print all that paper, and it ends up getting tossed most of the time anyway. And when we're doing a digital program, we can embed links in it. People can go straight to those sponsors, whether they have a logo, whether they have a full-size ad in there, whatever it is, because different tiers, you get different stuff. But also, as we're late enough in here that like normal people aren't listening to this, as we have people grabbing that, they're giving us their contact information. So I have tiers, and of course, these cost more money for this kind of stuff. My software will let me program text messages that get sent out in the middle of the show, 2 hours after the show, a week after the show, whatever you want. So if you want to put I have a nonprofit. It's a 501c3. So all of this stuff, you're going to get a tax receipt for all of it and everything.
So
So
is that the 501c3? Is that a charity organization?
Correct. Yeah. And
Okay.
it is used to basically route these sponsorships through organizations. If we're working with an organization that might not have that status,
Right.
but the business wants the benefit of writing a check to a 501c3 and getting that tax receipt, done. We and here's the thing. I from time to time will lecture on this and go through the blueprint of how I do this. If I were to do that lecture today, it's not going to be the same lecture than if I do that lecture 6 months from now or a year from now, because we are constantly finding cracks in the boat and filling them. Every single thing, because I didn't always have the 501c3. The 501c3 is there because businesses were like, well, can I get a tax receipt? And it was a time in which we were doing a benefit show for a gal who was, fighting stage 4 cervical cancer. And that's just an individual. She doesn't have tax status.
Right.
She doesn't have a 501c3. So I was like, well, can't do it this time, but I'm solving that problem for next time. So it literally was one show that we got the blowback. I'm a problem solver. So there was a problem, it presented itself, and it's never been a problem again.
No, that's awesome. Because I think that, from a business standpoint, when you're asking for businesses to, donate money for that, they either have to go, are we just giving this money away? Is it coming out of our marketing budget where, again, we're giving it away and kind of trying to write it off best we can? Or in your case, hey, I just donated to a charity and I reduce my taxable income.
Right.
I'm more likely to give more if I'm able to.
Yeah, I mean, it works out real well. We've had a decent amount of success with it, and my hope is specifically for this run of 6 shows that collectively, not money raised, but money specifically raised, given to these organizations, these schools, and the nonprofits. I want to eclipse over 50K in those 6 shows.
Not an effing word, you guys. I'm not naming names.
I might make you do the induction tonight so that I don't work in a hypnosis.
Oh, don't you. You guys can't fire me. I quit.
Well, you weren't getting paid anyway, right?
Yeah.
So for those of you that haven't been following, Brian has been gifted a new name. So for those of you that are listening later and wondering why we're chuckling, you'll have to go back and take a look at the actual chat as it presents itself at about this time frame.
I figured out what the stretch goal is. All right, if we can raise a grand total of $10,000 in that Kickstarter, there is a show. It's under the visual arts category. So if you go to the BarcelonaFringeFestival.com, go to the visual arts category. There is only one show there. I guess it's technically a show. It is I can't remember what it's called. Let me look real quick. It is like a drag drawing thing. It is called, Drag and Draw. So apparently they're going to have a drag show where you're bringing, pads of paper or maybe watercolor or what. I don't know how it's going to be set up. I just, in trying to contact all these performers, I've literally gone through 160 shows that are going to be at the Barcelona Fringe Festival. So if we can get a stretch goal of $10,000, I'm going to take all that money and I'm going to bring Brianna over and put him on that drag and draw stage somehow. I'll make it happen because that's what I do. I just make things happen.
As a self-identifying oppressed woman of color, I object.
Are you going to say no to me flying you to Barcelona?
You just mentioned for $10,000 in Kickstarter money, I'm going to end up on some drag drawing stage. And I'm like, I don't know that the terms and conditions of my probation permit that, but it's.
But there's nothing about your facial expression that seems to be running against the grain.
I'm sitting there going, just Jesus, like just shit. What did she start now? And all this started with some autocorrect failure.
Autocorrect.
Joe Beth, I'm going to need you to have me help me go after Apple for this, because I think it started with an iPhone. The iPhone cult. Scott King sure as hell isn't helping any. But again, it's oh Jesus. What happens in Barcelona stays in Barcelona. Scott, you dirty old man.
Unless you're a member of that private behind the scenes group, and then all bets are off.
There's stuff I'm not even sure I want to know.
It's all fun and games.
Why do I have the feeling I'm gonna, someone's gonna be, giving me a call? Oh, we've received your, rush application for a visa and a passport. I'm like, who's this from the State Department? And it's gonna be somebody that one of Scott's AI voices that he created. I'm like,
so we had a few people join us live recently. So Cindy is here with us now, and hey, Cindy. And if you didn't see before, Christina, there we go. And she actually called us friends, so that's a good sign, right? That means she'll be back at PHS.
I don't know, because of how my friends are.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, and we've got a few other people that have since joined in on the TikTok side of the fence. If you do have a question for our guest tonight, feel free to post that in the chat. We are getting close to that time, though, where we should be asking that question. So this is, I guess, last call for friend or frenemy. Let us know what you think. We'll give you another 2 minutes. Cindy says we will be there. There you go.
Awesome. Is that both of them?
I believe they came together last time. They were actually our volunteers. Cindy and Christina were volunteers, if I recall correctly. And I'm pretty sure Casey is on the ball and has already lined them up again. So
wonderful. They're always a pleasure to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had lots of let's circle back to conferences in general, but in particular PHS. You touched on it before while everybody's posting their last minute vote. You touched on it before that you could just sit down and talk to Jeff, and he would give you whatever information and you could sit down and what I witnessed this year at PHS. All things
aside from the healing,
yeah, were just a lot of really cool relationships being built. I look at Tommy and Israel and Tom Silver. That happened at PHS right before our eyes, like literally. In fact, was it Grant that posted a picture today?
I saw that.
Yeah, you saw that.
No, Jason Callahan posted a picture. I think
it was Jason.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And then Brian commented on it, and then it wound up in my feed, so I had to make a comment. And I was there when they took that picture. Like I was literally sitting right across at the main table when they were taking those pictures. So
you were cursing and swearing at a computer at the time.
I was wondering who was causing all the commotion out there, whether it was Salish or or Jason. But it was probably Jason. But we won't hold it against him. But those are the cool things that happen at a conference where you're not rushed. And it's not to take anything away from some of the bigger conferences, But when you have a conference where you can sit down and literally say, okay, what are you doing about this? And case in point, we all went for drinks after. Oh gosh, what day was it? Was this Saturday night? Saturday night or Sunday night? One of the two. No, it was Saturday.
Between Wednesday and I think Wednesday was
Yeah.
was kind of a blur.
Yeah, we went for drinks one night and we got talking about different routines, right? And I remember I was sitting across the table from Christina, and she was talking about the fact that she was doing the for the number that you forget, and I think it was like 4, if I recall correctly. And I said, well, I usually use 2 because then I can stretch it out. And now we're sharing ideas, and you don't get that at every conference. At some of the other conferences, you can run in and out and never meet another soul. But at a conference like this, you actually get to make some connections. And as you make those connections, not only do you find a new friend, you find out, hey, there's more people that are like you, or maybe we're not all completely, totally weird, just sort of, and, and you get to learn from them, and there's always something to be learned in every story that we tell.
Scott, you're a dick.
I'm over it. We're totally demonetized now, So anyway, that ability to connect, and Grant and I have talked about this. I don't know how many times. Well, pretty much every time we talk about conferences during Hypno News. It's so important, and this is one of the few communities. And I, being an educator, there are some portions and some personalities in the education community you don't get to connect with because you're not on their level. That didn't happen at all at PHS. That doesn't happen at most of the hypnosis conferences. These are our people, and we have an opportunity.
Yeah. Christina was saying the same conversation you said to count out with a quote 5-star review.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did say that. I should try that.
Oh, you got honorable mention there.
I should try that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Because
do you need a referral to a memory care facility? Because
hey, I am. Sure. Yeah. Why not? But
it's not so funny when people are messing with you, is it?
No, it's all good. And the reason and count out, actually that came about because we were talking about how do we get these reviews, because the minute you let the volunteers off the stage, what do you do with them? And I said, well, why don't we just count them out and say, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we all get to 5 eventually. Why not just say, put in a 5-star review? And then it's pre-programmed.
Oh, because I've I've seen the counting down. It's like 5, 4, 3, 2.
Right, but on the way out,
so we're at the end of the show.
You're counting them. You're counting them up, right? No, it's all good. All right, I think it's that time, Brian. It is time to ask the question. You can ask it this time.
If you say anything other than what is planned.
All right. This is not about I'll eat it if it's there. This is your
That's not helping.
This is
Are
your
you asking the question or are you answering the question?
Yeah, Brian, let me finish the question. I haven't even asked the question yet. I'm setting the parameters. Judgmentalist. Does pineapple belong on pizza? Yes or no?
Unequivocally, absolutely yes.
Hence, he is a frenemy.
It's all right. We tolerate him anyway.
No, it's okay, and this is the part of the show where I apologize profusely to the world because a Canadian invented, the Hawaiian pizza. It's appropriately named because it's really just ham and pineapple, and
And
yeah.
yet God is striking Washington State with lightning and setting it on fire this time of year.
Might I recommend something that might win some folks over? Because my default is not pineapple and ham, or Canadian bacon, if you will. It is pineapple and pepperoni. There is a different kind of salt mix there, and that salty sweet is it might change your mind of thinking for all of the friends. You might reverse course on who becomes a friend and who becomes a frenemy once you try pepperoni and pineapple on a pizza.
And Scott, if I recall correctly, you do the pepperoni, pineapple, and jalapeno.
Ooh, there's a nice little twist.
Well, that is Scott in a nutshell. All right, we got all of our digs out now.
Oh no, I'm waiting for more from Scott. Joe Beth is like, oh, the salty sweet, and I'm like, Scott, you shut your whore mouth.
Yeah, we're not making any money on this when it hits Spotify or Apple.
You might get a warning from the FCC.
They're gonna ban my account.
I blame England for this. Oh
yeah, see, pineapple and pepperoni. That's the move right there.
I don't know. Somebody pronounced bacon wrong, because pepperoni bacon is my go-to.
See, and I could for pepperoni, definitely yes. I could even have the ham or Canadian bacon, mushrooms. I can live with that. Not pineapple. All right.
There's so much going on here.
Yeah, and it continues.
Oh God, Scott. Who knew when you said at the beginning, Brian, what's the good word, or how are you? And I said, if I speak, I'm going to cuss. Little did I know that was the preamble of the fecal matter matinee that was to come.
Oh,
but alas, we're gonna
mushrooms and banana pepper.
What sort of
we're missing something?
Cajun confusion is that? Cindy, where does mushrooms and banana pepper come from? I've never heard that before.
While we're doing that, we will hit up our disclaimer. Of course, for those of you that are watching later on or listening to this on the podcast, this is the part of the show where we actually jump into a hypnosis session. So please be safe. Don't keep listening if you are driving your vehicle, chopping vegetables, doing something that would otherwise require your full focus, and get yourself comfortable in a safe spot and enjoy. And with that said, we are going to turn it over to you, good sir.
You're going to give me the reins on this? Woo! After the night that we've had so far? All right.
It can't. Well, I shouldn't. I was going to say it can't get much worse, but I know this crew.
Oh, there are viewers that just went.
I
hold
know
my
I
poutine
know these
and
viewers.
I didn't
There's
even
always a
suggest it yet, and
possibility.
3 people just yelled challenge accepted to their screen.
Yeah.
oh god,
It's all good.
should I just go play in traffic now, or do we wait till after my trip to Spain?
You can just stand here and watch. Hey, you can keep all the tips, by the way.
All the tips, all of them, just for a minute.
Just the tips. Whew, we have derailed this train.
Oh, it's like we just rode down the tracks in Ohio somewhere.
There we go.
A couple years ago.
All right, you have some background focus music. If not, that's no big deal. Everybody, put your feet flat on the floor, your hands on those knees.
Listen to Brian sobbing uncontrollably.
Listen to Brianna sobbing uncontrollably. There'll be a few moments till we introduce the hypnotic lipstick. They'll be available in stores near you on the 2nd. All right, focus. That's for me, not for you.
It's the name of the game.
Man, I'm not even drinking right now, but it feels like it.
I'm gonna start. It's why can't there be booze in this?
Oh, drinking! I thought you were going to take over. It probably would have been safer, but it's too late. All right, everybody, take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Slowly exhale. That exhale should take a little longer, be a little deeper than that inhale. Do it again one more time in through the nose. 3, 2, 1. We're going to continue that deep breathing, each breath a little deeper than the one before it. At some point in this relaxation, you may feel the desire to close your eyes. Feel free to let those eyes close whenever you're ready. In a moment, through that breathing, we're going to work in our mind's eye. I want you to imagine with that next deep breath, as you exhale, allow those eyes to slowly close. And imagine yourself seated in that chair. You start to feel every element of your body, your arms, your legs, all the way into your fingertips, down into your toes. Tonight, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to give each and every one of you the power to be your own hypnotist. In your mind's eye, I want you to imagine from that seated position, you to float out of your own body, floating into the air several yards or meters ahead, and you turn around and you see your own body sitting there in that chair, calm, relaxed, slowly and deeply breathing. And each and every one of you is now, as you float above your body, you are the hypnotist. You're going to gather the focus and attention of your own body sitting there. And you're going to point, and perhaps you're dangling a pendulum or a stopwatch or some emblem, a ring, a coin, to grasp that attention, grasp that focus as you guide yourself into that deep state of focus and relaxation. While you float above your body, you can feel that hypnosis beginning to creep in and relax that body. You instruct yourself to imagine standing atop 5 stairs, magical stairs, and you have yourself take one step down that stair, and it takes you deeper and deeper into that state of relaxation. And that next step, that 4th step, all of a sudden you're barefoot. You can feel what feels like the ground. Crisp, spring-like grass right between your feet, feeling deeper and deeper into that trance state. You instruct yourself to take that 3rd step, and that relaxation washes all across your body, from your head down through your legs into your toes as they meet that 2nd step. And you're really starting to feel that hypnosis, that tingling all throughout your limbs, the tips of your fingers. And you're going to take yourself now on a journey. As you take that final step, you find yourself in your mind's eye looking around into a beautiful imaginary garden surrounded by fields of wildflowers and other tropical plants that you've never seen before, as if they've grown from the deepest depths of your own imagination. Each step that you take along a soft and welcoming path in this garden fills you with a refreshing sense of clarity. Each step you take, each new plant that you recognize and start to breathe in unique and sweet smells from this tropical garden, grown mostly from your own unique imagination. Each step bringing more and more clarity. Any sense of stress and relaxation that you carried with you just begins to trickle away. And off to your left, you notice a slow, babbling brook. And as you look at that brook, it's almost as if any anxiety, any stress, any tension that's been in your body, in your mind, in your heart, you can see it leaving your body, entering that stream and flowing far, far away. You know that this journey in this strange and unique land is going to refresh you. Later tonight, or perhaps tomorrow, you're going to go about your day with a great and renewed sense of energy, positivity, motivation. In your mind, you'll think of a challenge, something that's been perhaps a little difficult for you, something that you've wanted to overcome. And you know that when you emerge from this journey, that the answers, the keys to unlock that challenge will be waiting for you. like this journey and how easy it's been, you will know the path when you emerge from this dreamlike state. That challenge will seem so much smaller to you, as if all of the burdens of that task were weights in a backpack that you've brought with you on this journey. And in this moment, you can feel that backpack and those weights. I want you to reach back. I want you to grab that backpack. In your mind's eye, I want you to take a look at that backpack and realize how insignificant, how unimportant these weights are, how unimportant and nondescript this backpack is. And we're going to leave this off to the side of this path. We're going to tuck it away behind some of these new, unique, invigorating plants, never to be seen again. Those challenges, those weights, no longer will they burden you. And we'll take a few steps further along this path as our journey is about to end, knowing that with every breath in this unique and imaginary forest, we're invigorating new energy. We're taking in greater depths to our own imagination, ready to use these tools on the journey ahead. And at the end of this path, we begin to see another set of stairs. These stairs going up and into the world. With each step, we're going to feel more awake, more alive. Take that first step, beginning to feel ourselves fill with a little bit more energy. That second step, feel that energy begin to move through our hands and our arms. Third step, we're feeling it in our legs. We're really getting ready here with that fourth step to go about and attack the day, whether that be later today for some of us, whether that be tomorrow. We awaken, we emerge on that fifth step, ready to go, excited, energetic, ready to attack those challenges that just seem so small, those weights that we left on that path behind us, ready to go about our day and make it happen. If your eyes are closed, open those up, take a little stretch, feel that energy flow through you.
And as you do, let us know how that was for you in the chat. Look forward to all kinds of good reviews, because we always get all kinds of good reviews, because we're one of the very few podcasts that actually does this live. Well, first of all, we're one of the very few that actually just record. They just go. Like, whatever happens. We'll deal with it live. But then also doing live hypnosis live. That's also pretty rare. So
I try to keep it in line for you, Brianna. I noticed this time, unlike the last time, you didn't close your eyes at all. I can.
Oh, I was like, no, we are not going there.
Hey, you know my rules. I'm not going to embarrass anybody. Not in that condition.
Christina says that was awesome. Thank you.
Mad shout out to Christina. Back in, what was that, the end of April, we got thrown the opportunity to do not one, but two of those post-prom shows. And we decided, hey, we're going to tack these together and we're going to do a duo show. And
because you guys were at what, Heartland in
in
St.
Heartland,
Louis?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we could have done it in a way where it's like, okay, you do a couple routines, then I'll do a couple routines, and you do a couple routines. And you know, we wrote this show while driving to the first show, and that was an adventure in and of itself. And we decided that no, we're going to do this show together, and it just kind of clicked. You know, we wrote a script, but there was so much just kind of banter back and forth and improv and taking moments and running with them. If anybody, everybody's got my social media. There are some clips of those shows out there. If anybody that's on here wants those, I will send you guys the videos. I'm sure that Christina doesn't mind. If you have an objection to that, speak now or forever hold your peace. But anybody that mentions this show and wants to see those videos, just let me know. I'll fire the links across. Hit me up on any of those social media channels, or she's got them. You can grab them from her. That's cool too. She was on here a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
A couple months ago. Yep. And actually she did tell us about your road trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Time isn't real. Whatever all that
is. I don't know. Somebody mentioned today there's portals opening in the sky and whatnot. So yeah, it's all relative. All right, Becca says, thank you, that was great. She's feeling so happy and calm and a bit drifty.
Go to sleep. So. Your work here is done. But
oh, it's all good.
You know, I should have done something for you where anytime that she says that word, that name for you, that she goes back into trance. Maybe next week. Maybe next time.
And then for Scott, every time he does that, he just slams his wiener in a sliding glass door repeatedly.
Oh, now you guys aren't monetized next week either. Woo. It's like a register, and you just tipped it off the scale.
Oh, it went the polar opposite of the gas meter. The give a Shizoli. But no,
all right.
It's always fun, kind of sparring with everybody, and it's all part of the game.
It is, and it's all good. So just to bring everybody up to speed, because we are getting close to the end of our time here, you can catch Judge Mentalist at any of the shows that he has upcoming. You could even fly over to Barcelona and see him at the Barcelona Fringe Festival. You'll see him at Performing Hypnosis Summit. Yes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So we know at least where you'll be for a couple of those spots. And you have permission. Share away. So you can fire those links to me.
Will do.
Yeah. And Brian, any last thoughts from you?
None that you want repeated on the air.
Okay. No. Honestly, that's the way we started. Even before I hit the go button, between having technical difficulties and rebooting machines, and Brian saying he really didn't want to open his mouth, otherwise it could be bad. I thought, okay, this is going to be an interesting evening.
Oh no, it just kind of seemed like the silly thing to say at the time, but no, in all seriousness, Joe Beth, it's always a pleasure having you come on. Always enjoyable just chatting with you, even if we're bouncing ideas back and forth, talking business, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm hoping that we can make an announcement sooner than later, and if it comes to fruition, we'll have some really solid stuff coming out.
I think I posted that in the wrong spot. Oh well, that's cool too. It's out there. I don't mind. Sorry, I'm just trying to post this.
As far as the link.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Let me.
I think we can go back and erase that one.
No,
if you don't
I've
want it
got
out
it.
there.
It's cool. Yeah, let it ride.
Here, I'll throw it in the comments.
Yeah,
It is in the comments. Brian, it is
nothing's
in the comments.
nothing has been official as far as I know, but one of the proposals that I put in for PHS is going through the sponsorship element of the fundraiser shows I do. And I think I put those proposals in, and then they're kind of like out in the ocean floating. And literally the first year that I presented at PHS, which was the first year that it was live and in person, when I got accepted, I had to email back and be like, "Hey, can you send me what I sent you? Because I just want to make sure that I'm giving the talk that I submitted." And I was now I've done so many different talks on different topics that are kind of sliding side by side with each other with respect to how to get out there and book shows and things to do and not do when you're getting started in stage performance. And I may be doing the fundraiser scheme and talking about that and how I set those up and how those are structured, a lot of which I talked about tonight in very
Now are you speaking about the presentation that you've submitted for, or
I think I might have
other?
even submitted two. So it
Okay.
might be the fundraiser show concept. And then I was like, I should do a separate talk where I actually break down how I set up these sponsorships. And again, as I mentioned before, and a large reason why I like to ask for, hey, tell me what I submitted, is the time between submitting a proposal, getting accepted, and then doing the talk. Since I'm constantly refining these things and I'm constantly improving these things, the ball keeps moving. Because this run that I'm doing in November, we set up not just individual sponsorships for the shows, but a global sponsorship. So now somebody can sponsor all 6 of these shows on the run for one price, and it's cheaper than breaking them down 6, individually.
Mm-hmm.
And just little things like getting somebody else to pay to run thousands of dollars worth of video ads on a streaming platform as part of the sponsorship. We just secured that one yesterday for this run, and that's going to be good. We'd already produced the ad. We were just waiting to get that sponsor to fund it and throw their logo and splash page in there.
Nice.
And the ad won't run till the middle of this month, but it'll show up on, if you go to betweentwominds.com or judgmentalist.com, has at least 1 or 2 links to those shows. And they're labeled Between Two Minds because that's the name of the 2-act show. Within a couple of days, the video that's at the header of those ticketing pages is going to then be the new updated video with the sponsor logo and the splash page at the end. So, the cool thing about when I do these talks is that these are not, hey, I have this crazy idea that I think might work, go try it. This is all battle tested stuff. This is all, you can see the evidence of me doing these shows and booking these sponsorships and raising this money for these groups, and what the ads look and what people get out of their sponsorships. Outside of just giving them tickets to the shows. And by PHS, I'll have the new, because this run will start me doing the digital programs. And then I'm kicking in a personal sponsorship to make sure that I'm getting people to actually give their contact information to download the things, because you're also going to not only get the digital program, but you're also going to be entered. Somebody is going to win probably an Amazon gift card and maybe a swag package for, t-shirt, show video, lapel pins, probably those Hypno coins, because I had quite a mess of those produced.
Yeah, and then I'm really hoping that we can, the other stuff that we had talked about that we're kicking around and trying to get sorted out and finalized. I'm really hoping we can bring that to fruition and actually make an announcement on that.
Well, I think it's rounding third, and all of there are certainly some details of the next level elements of what we were talking about that might not be formalized right away. But
yeah,
with Grant and I at the same place,
we're almost getting the wave around third to run home.
Yeah, I think that this thing probably gets put together in 90% ish format by this weekend. So be on the lookout, because if we do get it all put together, it will exist with early bird pricing. And if you want to, if it happens, when it happens, if you're interested in elevating your game as a performer in a very, very real way, especially for somebody that's just getting started out, this is a way to do it. So that's all I'm going to say on that topic.
Yeah.
Just enough to, hook, line, and wait for them to wait for the bites to start coming along.
Yeah. So
just going to wet the whistle. The cool thing about this is, with respect to the Carnival of Dreams show and the Kickstarter, is that I don't know exactly who's here other than names that I've seen in the chat, but more than half of the people that are here tonight have already jumped on board and are part of this thing. So that's pretty cool and exciting. Yeah. Again, I love the idea of this adventure and bringing people along with me without them having to take a week of their time and come to Barcelona. But
now, at risk of picking the scab,
$10K is the stretch goal.
$10,000. I don't have to get dressed up in drag, do I?
Why not?
It's not as bad as you think, Brian. And I'm going to leave it at that.
I have questions that I'm not sure I want the answers to on that, Shawn. Because there are mental images I can't unsee,
and that's why I'm going to leave it at that and say until next time, when Brian and I are back on the air with the Hypnosis Hero podcast. Take care, stay well, and be awesome.
Stay free, guys.
Good night, everybody.